Kou Yamori, an ordinary boy known for his grades and polite act at school, suddenly decides he's done pretending. Tired of faking smiles and following the rules, he ditches the routine to live a carefree life. One night, during a quiet walk under the city lights, he meets a strange vampire girl who promises him the best sleep he's ever had. But when Kou learns that vampires actually exist and he can become one himself, school is off the table, because now all he wants is to embrace the night and unlock the power that comes with it. Kou, wanting some time to himself, decides to sneak out of his house quietly, closing the door softly, feeling relieved to be outside without his family noticing. Thinking about needing rest for school the next day, he feels tired as he wanders around. Why is this loser wandering the streets, you may ask? Well, he recently got turned down by a girl, something you're definitely used to, that he had feelings for, even though he was confident she would say yes. Now, his classmates in school knows and they all make fun of him. On his way home, he thinks about stopping at the vending machine to get a small drink. However, he gets the idea of getting a drink meant for older people, but just as he's about to click the button, a mysterious girl shows up creepily like my uncle and offers her guidance to peaceful rest. She knows the reason for his awakening at night like a dog and talks about how other people wander at night, looking for peace just like him. They all have something in common, which is they are not truly happy during the day. The girl talks to random people on the street as Kou witnesses from afar, wondering how she can talk to everyone so normally. She tells him that nighttime is special because you can be yourself without worrying. Kou tries to do what the weird girl does, but his ass is too shy and messes up. As Kou begins to get tired, she invites him to her place to help him get well rested. Kou gets suspicious, especially when he sees her futon and she offers to share it with him. Trying to leave, he is outpowered by her and at that point, giving up was his only option. Kou pretends to go to sleep, however, the girl with an evil smirk gently goes over to him and takes a small bite out of his neck. Kou admits he is awake, making the girl come up with a silly story about a huge mosquito she supposedly got rid of from his neck. I don't know what type of mosquito you need to crisp breezy that hard. But you know, Kou doesn't believe her weak lie, considering she literally has red stuff on her face. He asks her if she's actually a vampire, and she agrees, which oddly he kinda just accepts. He does, however, begin worrying he might turn into a vampire. But she says that is just stuff from movies. To her, drinking blood is like having a meal, and vampires cannot turn everyone they bite into one of them. Considering if every bite would somehow turn someone into one of your family members every time, it would get sort of weird. That only happens when there is a deep romantic connection between the vampire and the person bitten. While they talk about this and the differences between night and day, Kou starts thinking about a dangerous idea since he is not happy with school, due to the constant bullying he receives after being rejected like yourself. He asks the girl to turn him into a vampire, saying it is like proposing in vampire culture. At first, she is surprised by his request but agrees, saying she won't make him a vampire. Instead, she will keep drinking his blood, and he has to start liking her on his own, as she forces him to jump off a building, because you know who cares about life anymore since we have vampires, and she flies away while he is in her arms. Finally, we come to know that her name is Nazuna Nanakusa. As time goes on, Kou keeps sneaking out of his house like a thief to enjoy the night. He meets Nazuna more often during these trips. Once, they talked about vampire traditions. Nazuna explains that drinking blood is not just about eating, but also about making more vampires, although not that she's into those things. She compares it to popular culture, but gets weirded out when Kou tends to talk about love and passion. When Kou offers his neck for her to drink from, she scolds him for being so open about it, acting like she ain't just take a whole bite of him a minute ago. On another night, Kou wanders around the city like usual, but he feels uneasy, and to add on, Nazuna is nowhere to be found. After thinking for a bit, he realizes they never decided on a meeting spot or time. Tired of searching, he goes back near his house, hoping to find her there. Kou realizes that there is no need to find Nazuna every night since lack of romantic feelings means he won't become a vampire despite her blood consumption. Just as he ponders this, Nazuna arrives, slightly irritated. Apologizing for his extensive search, Kou confronts her, criticizing her actions and calling her names. Nazuna defends herself, highlighting their shared need for sustenance. Their argument halts as they recall Nazuna's comparison of blood drinking to popular culture. Kou says he doesn't like having to find her every night like this some Scooby-Doo mishap. Always speaking his mind, he asks if she uses that weird garbage app named Fawbook. She says no, since that is for old people, and adds she doesn't even have a phone, since she isn't up to date in this century. Kou is surprised that someone can manage to not have a smartphone nowadays, but she says that she used to have one at home, some ancient phone your grandma probably used. He cannot believe such an old thing counts as a phone, but agrees she should use it for communication. Nazuna rejects the device, finding it outdated and cumbersome. She lies down, tired from hunting for prey. Kou feels uneasy, especially knowing she feeds on others at night. When she asks to drink from him, he refuses, surprised by his own reaction and behavior. Nazuna apologizes for her behavior and reveals her embarrassment about looking for someone. She praises Kou's blood quality, which lifts his spirits, leading him to willingly offer his neck for her. Did this man just pick up a weird blood kink? As they drift off to sleep together, Kou finds comfort in Nazuna's gentle snores. Later, he roams the streets in search of Nazuna after forgetting their meeting details. When she finally arrives, Kou proposes a solution in the form of a trance watch for communication. Nazuna, excited, grabs the watch but is corrected by Kou, who emphasizes its serious purpose. He shares a childhood memory of using a similar device, surprising Nazuna, who thought he was a complete loser with no friends like yourself. Offended, Kou asserts his independence, recounting a time when he hid a similar watch for someone else to find and communicate with. It worked, but when he tried to talk, he got nervous for some reason and did not. He cannot remember why he hesitated, deciding to wait for the other person to talk first. In short terms, she was right about him not having any friends, since one friend doesn't count as friends. Hearing this, Nazuna ends up laughing, making fun of him, but agrees to use the watch. They go their separate ways to try it out, and Kou realizes he never pressed the button on his watch before, feeling a bit nervous now. When he finally presses it, a loud noise comes out, leaving him speechless. Kou hopes that he will start liking her soon, and Nazuna is expecting his blood to taste good today. They walk together, flying over the city until they reach his school, which he has not been to for a few days. He mentions that he has never seen the school at night before. She tells him everything looks different at night. Even the school he hates during the day seems less frightening early in the morning. Suddenly, she gets close and bites him, surprising him with her boldness. He does not ignore it and calls her by her name to throw her off a bit. She is surprised that he is so familiar, but he says using her name makes using the trance watch feel more normal. He keeps calling Nazuna by her first name, making her feel weirded out a bit, and suggests they become friends first before anything romantic feeling happens, asking to be friends, mocking him, saying that he doesn't even have any friends to begin with. Kou finds out that for some reason Nazuna is okay with lewd jokes, but if it is romance she gets blushed easily and tries to run away like my father. Kou reminisces about his childhood watch, wondering if anyone had the little transmitter to the other watch. Suddenly, his watch beeps loudly, and a girl appears behind him, asking what he is up to. Going back a few days, Nazuna asks Kou if he really has no friends, and Kou replies with, "What even are friends?" making Nazuna answer her own question after hearing that foolish answer. Back to the present, Kou notices that the girl has the same watch as him, asking why she is wearing it. She seems confused by the question but says she kept it because he gave it to her. Well, supposedly Kou didn't give her the watch, but he accidentally set it next to her locker and she took it as a gift, and explains that he seems a bit more doomy than before, but explains how they met when they were younger. After they got split into different classes in 6th grade and stopped talking, she admits she missed him and thought he'd call, but he never did. Thinking he forgot about her, she let it go. But when he started missing school, she pressed the button to check on him. She was surprised to hear the other watches signal nearby. Kou, being the antisocial loser he is sweating nervously, trying to explain why he never called, but all he can say is, "Long time, huh?" After calming down a bit, he notices she is wearing the school uniform, even though it is literally 4 a.m. in the freaking morning. Curious, he asks what she is doing. "Why are you still at school so late?" he asks. She says it is not late but early, and she likes morning walks before class. She asks if they can meet again tomorrow at this time. He hurries to tell Nazuna through his watch that he does have friends, well, a friend, even if it is just one. Nazuna, annoyed that he woke her up over some dumb BS, hangs up. The next day, Kou gets dressed while Nazuna mentions that he is leaving earlier than usual. He tries to brush it off by saying it is the time, but she continues with her lewd jokes, saying that their relationship is only physical. Embarrassed by the comment, he tries to change the subject. But she keeps messing with him, suggesting that he is going to meet with another girl. Kou gets really flustered, denying her claims, and dips out like my father. Kou sits in the park with his friend, thinking about how they just spend time together without talking much. He remembers how she used to be happy and talkative and asks if she likes being with him. When she says she does, he starts to think maybe he is wrong, or maybe he wants to be wrong. But it seems like she has feelings for him, maybe even romantic ones. Lost in his thoughts, he sees someone suspicious, thinking it's my uncle, but it is a vampire, coming closer and talking like she knows everything now, while his friend Akira gets more worried. Nazuna's unexpected appearance raises eyebrows as she teases Kou about his secret rendezvous with the girl. Attempting to defuse the situation, Nazuna implies they are merely physical friends, inadvertently causing confusion. Akira, sensing something amiss, observes the use of first names and deduces Kou's affection for Nazuna. Despite Kou's attempts to intervene, Akira persists, prompting a shift to a diner scene. Akira bombards them with questions, perplexed by Kou's school absence and the revelation of a vampire among them. Kou attributes his school hiatus to boredom rather than Nazuna's influence, but tension arises when Akira proposes a return to school. Nazuna opposes the idea, leading to a heated exchange. She confronts Akira about her absence and delayed concern. But before Akira can respond, Nazuna abruptly departs, leaving Kou to settle the bill. As Kou follows Nazuna, probing her feelings, her curt responses agitate him until she finally snaps and curses at him before departing. Despite feeling perplexed by Nazuna's sudden anger, Kou continues to pursue her, albeit futilely due to her supernatural speed. Eventually, he relents and spends the night wandering the city until dawn, overwhelmed by fatigue. Recalling the trance watch, Kou hastily contacts Nazuna to apologize. Surprisingly, she answers, and Kou hastily offers apologies, attributing his delay to a secret meetup with a friend. Nazuna reassures him, expressing happiness for his newfound friendship. Apologizing once more for his ineptitude in handling conflicts, Kou implores Nazuna to explain the cause of her anger. Suddenly, Nazuna intervenes, questioning Kou's delayed response to Akira's inquiry about returning to school. She confesses embarrassment over her initial anger, but Kou assuages her by recounting his struggles and explaining his decision to become a vampire to a human friend. Nazuna, comforted by his words, notices blood on Kou's lips and proceeds to drink it. Referencing his human friend, she suggests Kou may have found a vampire friend as well, bidding him farewell until tomorrow and addressing him as friend. Stunned by the encounter, Kou nearly comments on the unexpected kiss between friends. Now Akira is in class, and the teacher wakes up a sleepy student. She scolds him, saying it is important to sleep at night, especially as they grow up and have more responsibilities. She tells them to take advantage of their energy and get enough sleep. Even though she wants to go home, it looks empty. She says she is there, but no one talks to her, so she goes through her usual routine, like washing up and brushing her teeth, something most of the anime community doesn't do. She puts on pajamas and goes to bed even though it is only 8 p.m. We see that as it gets darker and she gets sleepier, Kou leaves the house, noticing he is better at sneaking out. Thinking about the kiss he shared with Nazuna, sees her in the square nearby. He usually cannot find her easily, but he does today. He is unsure about talking to her early, still thinking about their kiss. He realizes that a kiss means love and thinks he is starting to love the vampire. Lost in happy thoughts, Nazuna arrives and is surprised he misunderstood despite her being right there. He acts strangely, saying he loves her and is ready to become a vampire. But when she bites him, nothing changes, and he accuses her of lying. She says he only wanted her for lust, not love. He understands that he mistook his feelings for real love and blushes, admitting it was his first kiss. Nazuna feels the same, though confused about kissing being seen as just friendly. Then, the story goes back to Kou's friend waking up. She is surprised it is still nighttime and realizes she has not been sleeping well. She goes for a walk and meets Kou and Nazuna. They talk about how weird it is to be out at night. Kou invites her to Nazuna's place, and they end up playing video games. Nazuna spends the whole time making fun of them, even suggesting she and Kou kiss. Akira is upset by this and says she wants to support Kou, but not with Nazuna around. Nazuna acts like she does not know what is going on and says Kou doesn't really like her. Eventually, she says they should go to bed because it is late. They lie down together, but Akira feels uncomfortable. She says she will still go to school soon because the gates open in 2 hours. Nazuna notices it is raining outside and sees Akira does not have an umbrella. She suggests Akira stay until the rain stops, while Akira looks at the rain outside. She does not try to take his blood, and Akira asks again about the vampire stuff. He wants to become a vampire eventually. She does not take him seriously but keeps asking questions. He has to have feelings for Nazuna to become a vampire. As they talk about feelings, Nazuna gets embarrassed and annoyed, telling everyone to go to bed. Akira still looks uncomfortable and says she will leave when the rain stops. After that, Nazuna falls asleep quickly. She might be faking it, but they talk. Kou feels bad for putting her in this situation, but says he wanted to show her he was not doing anything wrong at night since she was worried. He also talks about wanting to become a vampire, and she says it is okay and won't affect their friendship. She sees he is tense and tells him to relax or he won't sleep well. She says it is okay if their hands touch accidentally. Then, she says goodnight and tells him she will still call him to go to school even if he becomes a vampire. After she leaves, she thinks it has been a long time since she said goodnight to someone and feels happy, wondering if the rain will keep going. She falls asleep shortly after, waking up panicked, realizing it is already morning and she is late. Nazuna asks if she slept well. She says people sleep well when they are happy with what they did during the day and asks if Akira is happy. Akira does not answer, but as she walks down the street, she feels happy inside, thinking she probably is. Now it is Nazuna's turn to wake up, but when she looks at the time, it is only 16:35, so she decides to start playing video games. At first, it is fun, she believes she can win and get a high rating. But then she starts messing up and takes out her anger by calling the game garbage and useless. She then remembers that she is supposed to get a delivery soon and wonders if the package had been delivered or not. She checked the mailbox, but there was a note saying they had come earlier and could not deliver the package. She is frustrated because she said she specifically asked to deliver it when she is awake, since she sleeps during the day. In the elevator, she thinks that she should specify a convenience store as a pickup point because she doesn't feel good as they have to make multiple delivery attempts now. It's currently 8 in the evening and is thinking about doing chores like laundry and cleaning the house, but since it will soon be night, she has a change of mind, although she likes how the wet clothes that she hangs before sleeping become nice and dry when she wakes up again. Instead, she decides to watch TV, but even that is boring, with just regular commercials on. She tells herself that the night might bring something good and goes out hoping for a miracle. The night sky is full of stars and she walks around, but everyone she passes by has a glum look on her face. She wishes that all of them should gain an understanding of how to enjoy the night, like someone certain she knows. Just then, she happens to find a black kitty and plays with it for a while. When she is about to leave, she notices that her hands are dry and smelly, so she decides to go to a public bath. When she gets there, she asks the person working there for a bathing kit, and also asks him to tell her when her watch starts ringing. Sitting in front of the mirror, she thinks that it is stupid that the vampires cannot see their own image in the mirror, and it is troublesome when she needs to see herself. Soon, the alarm goes off. She quickly gets out before the person working there can stop her. Kou is waiting outside and almost does not recognize her because her hair is down. He is surprised by how different she looks and feels drawn to her in a new way. He asks why her hair looks different, to which she replies that it is because of the bath she took. Kou says he wants to bathe too. Sitting in the bath, he thinks about how he has been feeling intense emotions lately, finding nighttime adventures exciting but tiring. After the bath, he seems refreshed but still has all kinds of thoughts. Suddenly, he asks Nazuna to drink his blood, saying it helps him calm down and figure things out. He wants to see if he really loves her or not because lately, it has been hard to tell with them spending so much time together. They talk on a bridge, and Nazuna mentions that she already drank the blood of someone passing by below. Kou feels jealous, but she says that she has also sucked blood from women and only drinks his blood now. This makes him curious about how she got her fangs. She tells him that she used to work as a professional cuddler, a job where people pay to talk, hug, or sleep together without any romance. He accuses her of doing something wrong, but she shows him a menu of services and offers to show him.
やっぱりエッチな店じゃん。
どうすかお客さん。血吸うためにさ、いろいろ考えたわけよ。
The activities are innocent, and he chooses a massage. At first, he feels shy, fighting against any kind of dirty thoughts, but then relaxes. She tells her that she started giving massage services to have easy access to blood since it is difficult to just attack someone for blood. She explains that the massage helps people relax and sleep better by improving blood flow. Usually, she would feed on him after giving a massage, but the doorbell interrupts. Nazuna checks and finds it is one of her clients. Tired from massaging him, asks him to do it instead, which surprises him. Kou welcomes the customer and takes her inside. Nazuna blames him for making her because they are enjoying the nights together, and she also paid for the hotel room as well. She tells him to do the massage just like her and promises to share the payment and give him a kiss as a reward. The car drops the lady off at a sidewalk. Walking on the roadside, she feels tired and remembers the time when she went for a massage service. The scene changes to Kou, excited to start his job, and a poor young woman who was expecting Nazuna's usual help but finds Kou instead. Kou believes that he is not working as a professional cuddler just so he can get a kiss from Nazuna, as one might think that is the case. He is doing it for the money and nothing else. The lady asks about his age and he says he is only a teen. She cannot believe it, especially since it is his first day on the job. She thinks he must have a tough family situation to be working at night for such a strange job. While he massages her, they talk, and Kou tells her he stopped going to school because the night attracts him and he prefers the night to the day. The woman remembers she had similar feelings when she was younger and now feels exhausted from working so much week after week, day after day. She adds that she has to pretend to have fun and laugh at things that are not even funny. All the pent-up feelings inside her come out as she starts crying because she cannot withstand all of this anymore. At that moment, she receives a call from her boss. Suddenly, it feels like she has been hypnotized. She gets up saying she has to leave, even though she is in the middle of a massage, otherwise she will get in trouble and get ready to go. Kou decides he won't let her go. He stands in front of the door and insists she stays the night, and he will finish the massage so she can enjoy the night. The woman is surprised by his determination. Just as she is trying to understand what is happening, Nazuna shows up to see what is going on, passing through the wall. When Kou asks for help to stop the woman from leaving, Nazuna's solution is to throw her out the window. The woman starts thinking she is about to die, but then they come to rescue her. Downstairs, Kou apologizes, but he does not want her to leave and says if something makes you cry, you should not have to keep doing it. The woman tells him he does not understand because he is just a kid. This is serious work, and adults have to work even when they do not want to. They talk more, and Kou tells her about Nazuna being a vampire and also his dream of becoming a vampire to be free. He also tells her that her boss is totally insane for calling her this late at night, even crazier than the dream of becoming a vampire. The lady finds his logic ridiculous for wanting to become a vampire just so he can enjoy the night. She smiles for the first time and jokes that she envies him and might think about it too. Kou promises to turn her into a vampire after he becomes one. The woman thanks him and feels better knowing she does not have to work so hard anymore, but she still leaves. Nazuna tells him that he made a quite powerful statement, as he still doesn't know if he himself can become a vampire or not. In the next scene, Kou is at Nazuna's place and they decide to visit a nighttime pool. Kou finds it difficult to blend in with the pool's atmosphere when he sees some dudes trying to hit on Nazuna. He grabs her hand and takes her out of there. He says that the nighttime pool was not fun and he does not like when people approach her so easily. Nazuna apologizes for teasing him and hugs him tightly from behind, flies up and jumps into the nearby school's pool along with him. Kou is walking along the street worrying if someone he knows finds him out this late at night. Right at that moment, someone calls his name. He turns around and it is the lady from yesterday who came for a massage service. She buys Kou soda as a token of thanks and leaves. It starts raining heavily, so he takes shelter under a bridge. Under the bridge, there is lots of activity, like a man trying to get close to a young woman. She comes to talk to Kou, saying the man offered her money to go with him. Kou understands how hard it can be for women, but she explains she put herself there on purpose, expecting this kind of thing. They talk, and she starts to like Kou, inviting him to join her, but he is not interested. So, she just takes his soda and leaves. But Kou won't let it go. He follows her, asking for his drink back. Suddenly, she talks about how boring her days have been and how she wishes she had someone to talk to about it, but he calms her down, saying he feels the same way and everything will be okay. Then, she hugs him tightly and thanks him. Without thinking, she attacks Kou and shows her fangs to suck blood out of him. Right at that moment, Nazuna shows up and fights the girl, telling her to let Kou go. After things calm down, the other vampire says humans are only for food or making more vampire offspring, so if he is neither, he should be killed. While Nazuna is busy fighting the yellow-haired vampire girl, another vampire lady appears behind Kou and takes him away to a rooftop where 4 other vampires are waiting. They give Kou a tough choice. He has to pick one of them or the girl he met earlier to become a vampire, or they will destroy him. She says that he knows of their existence and he can learn about their habits, so they have to get rid of him. But before that, they will give him a choice. Kou insists that only Nazuna can turn him, which surprises them. Kou sits alongside the red-haired vampire. All of them are trying to win over Kou. They explain that vampires usually use their charm to attract prey for making more vampires, so they are usually the most attractive and popular. But Nazuna is not like that. She doesn't care about being popular and feels awkward talking about romance. They try to impress him, but none of them succeed. One vampire likes inexperienced boys, and another tries to be closer friends, but Kou only has eyes for Nazuna. They say he has to choose, but he sticks to wanting Nazuna, saying he wants to love her. On the other side, the vampire girl who was fighting Nazuna tells her that she is putting Kou in danger by hanging around with him, as she has no feelings for him and she also has no plans of making offsprings. The other vampires are still trying their best to win over Kou, using their favorite tactics that have lured many men before, but Kou does not find it right and brushes them off. The vampires again tell him that they are showing him mercy and he needs to select one of them, otherwise they would just kill him. Kou says that he does want to become a vampire and that is why he wants to fall in love with Nazuna. Just then, Nazuna shows up and hears him. She looks tense and they think she is angry, but she is just embarrassed. Nazuna tries to leave with Kou, but the vampires ask her to sit down and chat with them as to how she plans to make Kou fall in love with her. Nazuna shows hesitation. The vampires are still unsure if Nazuna wants to make more vampires because she has never shown interest in that before. One of them tries to flirt with Kou right in front of Nazuna, almost starting a fight until the redhead, who seems to be their leader, stops them. She says they cannot fight each other, but what the other vampire lady said holds some weight because Nazuna has never tried to make offspring before and now all of a sudden, she is spending her time with a human kid. The undead asks Nazuna what is so special about Kou that has got her interested in him. But Nazuna avoids the question and stays on guard, promising to fight anyone who tries to get close to Kou. The tension gets worse, but Kou speaks up. He says that Nazuna said his blood is tasty, so they both had an agreement where she gets his blood and Kou gets to become a vampire. Nazuna let him take his time to like her and she did not say no. At first, they seem confused, except for the redhead. But then they agree that it is like an agreement between them, even if it is not romantic. They decide to leave Kou alone for now and say they won't get involved. Everyone seems okay with it, and Kou feels relieved. He promises to keep trying to become a vampire, no matter how hard it gets or how long it takes.
俺何年かかっても。
But then, something unexpected happens, surprising everyone. Even Nazuna, the person with reddish hair, explains that Kou only has a year to become a vampire. If he does not do it at that time, he cannot become one anymore. Kou is shocked because Nazuna did not tell him about these other vampires and their rules. Thankfully, no one had to die because of what happened. The other vampires bring drinks, and as they were about to leave, Nazuna remembered another promise she made to Kou during the massage. Kou does not seem to remember, but Nazuna takes a step forward and gives him a kiss. In Japan, people do not like showing too much affection in public, so they all feel a bit uncomfortable. But Nazuna acts like it is normal and pays the bill. Kou says goodbye and leaves. On the way back, Kou is lost in thoughts and evaluates his situation, that he could have been killed during the fight. Later, he tells his friend Akira about everything that happened, especially how he has only a year to become a vampire, which worries him a lot. Akira tells him that he is in a quite dangerous situation as he has only got a year to become a vampire, and if he fails to do that, he is a threat for them, being a human who can never become a vampire and who knows about most of their habits, so they will probably get rid of him. Realizing this, Kou gets flustered, so Akira gives him advice on how to fall in love with Nazuna. Akira goes to school, thinking about her friend's problems. When she gets there, sees Maharu Seki lying on the ground. He apologizes for scaring her and says he fell asleep because he stayed up all night having fun. Akira wonders if this is a new trend, but he tells her it is because he likes someone who is only available at night. She worries it might be someone older and accidentally says something that hints at her concern. Confused, Maharu asks her about it, but she brushes it off. They talk about their friend Kou, who has not been in class lately, and remember when they used to hang out together when they were kids. Akira and Maharu go to their respective classes, and Akira remembers a memory from the past where the three of them are together watching the ants carry bugs to their nest. Meanwhile, the yellow-haired vampire who attacked him and tried to suck his blood meets Kou on the street. He tries to pretend he is someone else and runs away. But she catches him. She tells him she won't hurt him today, and they talk about his problems becoming a vampire and his feelings about love. Kou asks her what it feels like to fall in love. The girl is fascinated by his innocence and decides to help him. Now, let's talk about the girl who loves playing video games. She has just found some rare items, maybe in a game like Minecraft. Kou asks her out on a date. She turns him down and starts playing the game again. Kou turns off the console. She stops playing, feels angry and lashes out on him, but still agrees to go with him. They go to the movies, but she gets upset when he picks a romantic movie. So, they go to a cozy cafe instead. He tries to talk about the movie, following advice from a vampire story he read. She notices his strange behavior and takes his list. After reading it, she says she is leaving, making him sad. Later, she is playing video games and feels hungry. Looking at Kou's small list given to him by Seri, she gets an idea. Kou is lying on his bed, wondering what went wrong. Right when someone knocks on his window, he gets up and looks. Nazuna is outside his window, agreeing to try the last thing on the list, having dinner together under the stars. She asks him about going out together. Nazuna and Kou are flying up in the night sky. Nazuna shares that they have been doing that every day and Kou should stick to it, ending with her drinking his blood. Kou is walking by himself, looking for Nazun, as he lost her when he sees Mihira across the street walking with some friends. Kou tries to avoid him and walks past him, but Maharu comes back as he realizes it is Kou. Maharu and Kou are together in the playground, and Maharu says that he is happy to see his friend. They share how they have felt towards each other when Akira appears out of nowhere. They talk for a while and Maharu leaves first, thanking Kou. Kou feels good and starts looking for Nazuna and finds her. Nazuna sees a couple holding hands, so when Kou returns, she asks him to give her his hand, and they start walking while holding each other's hands. Now, let's talk about Akira. She is looking for Kou, walking around the city. Across the street, Coco feels nervous about talking to people, but when he comes back, he is happy because he saw Kou and says they need to talk about something important. Kou wonders if Maharu sees him as a close friend, given her many friends. He thinks about how kind and popular she is until Akira shows up. They greet each other and Maharu says she has been spending time with someone else at night, so she has not been to school. After she leaves, Coco thanks Kou for his support. Later, Nazuna finds Kou talking to another woman. We cannot hear what they are saying, but the music makes it seem ominous. Kou is happy to see Nazuna but notices she looks troubled. She talks vaguely about their relationship and grabs his hand, saying she cannot look away, and they disappear together. Another day comes, and we see Sari sitting on the railing and watching her phone, sadly. She seems bothered by someone who keeps texting her. At first, she was thinking of making this person her offspring, but she doesn't feel this anymore. She doesn't want to kill him, but if it gets too messy, she would be forced to kill that person. She is annoyed by these constant interruptions, even joking about turning the person into a vampire, but now she is not interested anymore. Suddenly, she sees Kou watching her from some distance. She immediately runs toward him and tries to hug him happily. But their moment is cut short because as soon as Sari reaches near Kou, Nazuna comes in and attacks Sari brutally. She comes from the sky and attacks with her knee on Sari's face. The attack was so intense that Sari landed far from Kou. The saliva was coming out of her mouth from intense pain. Kou is very angry with Nazuna and scolds her for doing this without knowing Sari's true intentions. Nazuna thought that Sari was coming to hurt Kou, but she was only coming to hug him. Nazuna realizes her mistake and tries to calm things down, but she still insults Sari in her face and excuses as Sari's face annoys her.
本当だよ。ひどくない？
君を守りたくて。
されてないって言ってんじゃん。ありがとうね。
ごめん、つい足が出ただけ。
大事な守りたいのところがなくなってんじゃん。
This is why her leg just acted up and she couldn't control it. Sari also does not care about Nazuna and her excuses. Just when Kou and Nazuna are talking, she climbs in and attacks Nazuna. They keep arguing and fighting for some time while Kou shockingly looks at them. After some time, they stop fighting and sit tiredly and try to sort things out by casual talking. Sari assures Nazuna that she has no intention to harm Kou, so she can be at peace. But Nazuna is also right because she has been guilty before. This is why Nazuna assumed wrongly and attacked her. Nazuna wonders why Sari would go near Kou because once, she herself said that getting friendly with humans when you are not going to suck their blood is not normal. Sari gets up, cleans her clothes, and casually replies to her that she was just messing up with Kou a little and leaves. On her way, a random person again texts her and bothers her. Sari has saved his number as a person to be killed. Kou is worried for Sari, so he follows her. He finds her at some distance, reading the tests on her phone. So, he loudly calls her name and wants to help her. He asked about the thing that Sari wanted to discuss with him before. She was sad because things had not been going well for her these days. But Sari lies as she says that she was joking and doing all this to get his interest. Kou knows that Sari is lying. He tries to relax her as vampires can also have problems. This surprises Sari and her eyes widen. Even though Sari does not want his help, Kou keeps insisting. Finally, Sari agrees and invites him to karaoke. In the karaoke room, Sari asks about Nazuna and how she is okay with leaving Kou alone with Sari. Kou informs her that Nazuna was exasperated but said to do whatever. There, Sari continuously talks about how popular she is but complains about people who like her too much. According to her, it is a drag having to deal with these sorts of people. Kou shockingly looks at Sari for having this kind of mindset. Sari notices his silence and apologizes because she thinks that Kou doesn't understand her point. But Kou understands Sari's point because he also gets annoyed with people who only care about romance and think that it is the essence of life. Sari understands his point. This is why he is not Nazuna's offspring but a good friend. Sari then ends this topic and comes straight to the thing for which she and Kou arrive at karaoke station. In an extremely joyful mood, she suggests queuing up the songs with some bad vibes. Right at the moment, the disco lights turn on. The song also turns on, and Sari starts enjoying the vibe. She suddenly looks toward Kou, but he doesn't seem interested in her singing. He is continuously looking at the tab and finds the song he likes. Sari gets offended as he is not vibing with her. She says to at least chime in with her singing. Kou reveals that he doesn't know about this song. This really shocks Sari because she is singing the most popular song of today. Actually, he has not been watching TV lately, so he doesn't know about it. Sari gets really irritated as she thinks that Kou is bragging about not watching TV. She starts shouting into the mic that Kou is playing some innocent tricks with her. After some time, Sari cools up. She allows Kou to cue a song of his liking so they can at least vibe on that song. But surprisingly, Kou chooses a song from almost 30 years ago. This again shocks Sari very much. But by respecting Kou's choice, she praises the chorus of this song and accepts that she never heard its lyrics. Further, she asks about more good songs from this group, and this is how they eventually get along. As they talk about what song to sing next, a weird person who looks like a zombie shows up at the door. He forcefully hits his hand again and again and yells Sari's name. This man scares Kou a lot. He thinks that the man comes to the wrong room, but Sari recognizes him. She apologizes to Kou, saying that it is happening all because of Sari's unimaginable popularity. Kou is annoyed, but Sari stays calm, saying this kind of thing happens a lot. Kou asks how she can stop it from happening because he is very scared. But Sari blushes and says that she also doesn't know what to do because this is common for guys to turn into mental psychos sometimes. She further gives her opinion that these kinds of guys who are complicated and insecure are only cute in manga and stuff, but in reality, they are a total drag. Kou gets mad because Sari keeps talking about her popularity and not doing anything about this weird man who keeps banging on the door. She further explains to him the term dragos. It means the guys who are a drag are called dragos. But Kou is still freaking out because of the person. Sari calms him down that he is not a problem and she will sort this matter out in just a second. Sari just waved and said hey to the weird person, and he immediately moved aside. She tells Kou that this type of person only cares about getting attention, so that is enough to placate them. Now Kou understands Sari's term, hassle. He asks about what would make these things better for Sari. Sari gets mad at him for trying to give advice, saying that he cannot enjoy being with her the way he does with Nazuna. She says the solution is simple. She needs to get rid of the person bothering her. According to her, it is only natural for humans to get killed by vampires. Kou calls her arrogant. Sari fires back, saying humans are too quick to cry murder without understanding the situation. Kou argues that sometimes it's worth trying to talk things out first, and that this guy doesn't deserve to die. He pleads with her to at least try a conversation before anything drastic. Just then, the person they were talking about walks in, looking like they are ready for a fight. He innocently asks whether Sari and Kou are fighting because of him or if he is assuming. As he entered, Sari kept looking into his eyes since then. Suddenly, she moves forward to attack the weird guy. But then Kou steps in and pushes the guy before Sari can reach him. She tells Kou to go out or else he will die too. But by not caring about himself, Kou tells the person to run away instead. They manage to get away from the fight and stop to catch their breath in a dark alley. The person starts talking about how they know Sari and thinks she might have felt sorry for them, but they don't really care what she thinks as long as they can be near her. Before Kou can say anything, Sari shows up and tries to hurt them, but Nazuna arrives just in time to save them. Nazuna tells Sari she is being naive to think she could just leave them alone and asks why she is suddenly thinking about hurting someone when she has never done it before. Then, the person they were talking about says it is their entire fault and admits they cannot return Nazuna's feelings because they are just friends. Sari finally admits that being a vampire makes it hard for her to have friends because she has always been tempted to seduce humans. She had hoped things would be different with them, but now realizes it won't work. Kou realizes that they were the real problem because they almost ruined their friendship with their anger. He asks everyone to talk things out honestly as friends. Sari explains that vampires usually cannot be friends with humans, so their friendship is rare. She apologizes, says goodbye, and starts crying because she does not want to lose their friendship. The person they were talking about also wants to keep their friendship and asks Sari to turn them into a vampire. Even though they think it is unfair, they still want to be with Sari even if it means becoming a vampire. Kou cannot help but wish he could become a vampire too someday. In the end, everything turned out okay, and they all gathered to celebrate at the karaoke place. They all enjoyed themselves a lot there. Finally, Sari didn't kill Akiyama. Instead, she made him her offspring, which she didn't want to. But Akiyama insisted, so she had to do this. A girl wearing a maid's uniform is distributing some pamphlets on the road at night. Two random people happily get them from the girl. She looks at her phone where her colleague has messaged her. He is saying sorry for not coming to work today because he got stuck in something urgent. This makes her worried. Their target was to sell all the pamphlets by today, but her colleagues ghosted her on the spot. Now, she is trying to find some help, but all she knows about our villain, S, and she can't call them for help due to their romantic nature. Deeply lost in her thoughts, she keeps walking on the street. After enjoying themselves at karaoke station, Kou and Nazuna went on their way home. On the way, they were talking casually. Suddenly, they see Midori Kohakobe, who is wearing maid clothes. Nazuna asks about this weird-looking dress while Kou makes fun of her, saying that he doesn't know that Midori is a maid. Midori badly needed help at the cafe where she works. This is why she ignores Kou's insult and becomes so happy to see Nazuna. She thinks that Nazuna is best for this job because she is the only villain who can't get the attention of herself and won't make people fall for her. Without any second thought, she asks Nazuna for some help because she thinks only Nazuna can help without getting in trouble. First, Nazuna gets offended by what Midori says but eventually agrees to help Midori. At the restaurant, Midori waits while Nazuna is changing her clothes. When Nazuna comes out in her maid's dress, Midori starts jumping in excitement, saying that Nazuna is looking so beautiful. Nazuna doesn't agree with that. Kou is also standing beside Midori. He keeps looking at Nazuna with wide, broad eyes and also agrees that Nazuna is looking beautiful. Nazuna says that she doesn't mind working this shift, but what would Kou do all this time? She also offers him to wear a maid uniform. Kou becomes panicked as he doesn't want to wear this strange dress. In the meantime, Midori offers Kou to order anything he wants and Midori will handle everything. In her mind, Midori thinks of Kou as absurd because once he said that if he had to choose, Midori would be a big no. She is planning to show how amazingly cute she can be and then she will knock his socks off. She orders Nazuna to do as she explains to her and tells Kou to enter the store after about 5 minutes. After almost 5 minutes, Kou enters the store and is stunned to see his welcome. Midori asked everyone to open a door for him, stay there when he entered, and say welcome loudly.
お邪魔します。
いや、崩さないでよ、世界観。
She then takes Kou respectfully to the chair. She then introduces herself and asks Nazuna to do the same. Nazuna fails to formally introduce herself every time. Midori becomes angry and requests her again and again to do it correctly. But Nazuna says that she is unable to remember such a big line. Midori then reminds her of the payment after the work. Nazuna immediately gets energetic just by listening to the money. But this time also, Nazuna messed up. Instead of greeting politely, she chooses an enthusiastic way. Midori comes to know that she has to assign Nazuna a new and unique character to let her stand out. Kou asks about the sort of character Midori chose to become number 1. Midori starts exaggerating as she doesn't need any character to get famous. She is already very cute, and on top of that, she is a vampire. After getting free from Kou, Midori gets back to her work. She serves one of the customers a cup of black coffee with her sweet charm. The customer is very fascinated by her charm. He then takes a sip and starts explaining the goods this coffee has. But then, he gives all the credit to Midori's sweet charm. According to him, the bitter black coffee starts tasting sweet due to her charm. Kou is listening to all this conversation. He is shocked to see that Midori and the client's conversation is totally on the next level. Kou had to wait while Nazuna finished her work, just sitting in the lobby like everyone else. Right when he was listening to Midori's conversation with the client, another waitress came in with the tropical juice. She took great care of him while Midori and Nazuna were busy with their work. The waitress praises Kou's cuteness. This surprises Kou, and with a shivery voice, he says thanks to her. The waitress knows that it is his first time at the place, so she formally introduces herself as Arisa, the vamp waitress. She then tells about her favorite food, which is raspberry and chocolate cake. Moreover, she loves to go to other maid cafes on weekends and she also loves chatting with her favorite maids. Kou is quite impressed by this waitress and how good the staff is here, comparing them to characters in cartoons. He then tells about why he is sitting here. He says that he is sitting here because Midori brought him in. Arisa immediately silences him and informs him that he can't say this in the cafe. She further praises Midori and her personality. Midori took the number 1 spot as soon as she joined this cafe. And before that, Arisa was in the number 1 spot. But she requests Kou not to say this to anyone because this was supposed to be a secret. Kou starts looking at Midori while she is working. Midori notices it and starts showing her charm again. She thinks that Kou is admiring her. After work, Midori, Nazuna, and Kou are sitting in the cafe. Nazuna keeps drinking the glasses of beer as she is really tired and beer is necessary after a day of hard work. Midori requests that Nazuna let her take some pictures because she has to post the pictures on social media. It is good for the reputation of the cafe. Midori said she'd send them their pay. But when Kou checked his email, he found some embarrassing pictures of the waitresses attached. It is against the rules to take pictures in cafes like that, even of your food. The camera gets checked to make sure no one took any unauthorized photos. Midori, Nazuna, and Kou are all worried about the pictures. Nazuna starts teasing Kou that he is watching the pictures by zooming in on every bit of it, embarrassing Kou, attempting to defend himself. We came to know that these pictures were a big problem, especially since the sender said they had already been shared online. Kou looked at the pictures closely and Midori called him a pervert, thinking her pictures might be in there too. But Kou said only the waitress who served him was in the pictures. Seeing how observant Kou was, Midori asked for his help in figuring out who took the pictures without permission. The next day, before the cafe opens, Kou looks at the photos again when the waitress comes in.
お疲れ様です、ヤモリ様。
She feels uncomfortable with him staring at her body so much. She says sorry, trying to make it seem like a joke, and feels bad for not noticing someone taking pictures of her while she was changing. Kou figures out that the only way someone could have taken those pictures was from outside through a window. He goes outside to check, but the window is too high for a regular person to reach unless they can move like a vampire. He starts to worry that Midori might be involved, but Kou says she is not. He stays watchful at the window, even asking Nazuna to pose for a picture, but he still feels uneasy. He thinks hard until he figures out who did it. Before the shift ends, he tells Midori who did it, but they have to hide when they hear someone coming. They hide in a closet while Nazuna tells Arisa that everyone has gone and asks her to lock up. Inside the closet, Kou talks about how the pictures were taken after closing when they hear a noise from the window. Kou catches the person who took the pictures red-handed.
Arisa-san!
Nazuna finds out she used a timer to take the pictures from far away. After she gets dressed again, Kou says it was easy to catch her because the pictures looked posed and not too bad. Midori thinks she did it because she used to be popular at the cafe and got jealous, so she wanted to make herself look good by spreading her own pictures. She starts to say sorry and wants to quit, but Midori tells her it is okay because everyone feels vulnerable sometimes, even her. Nazuna decides to keep working at the cafe, at least until she decides to leave. When Midori has a day off, she goes to the cafe because she likes it there. This time, she takes a picture she can share with others without feeling embarrassed. After working at the cafe for a while, Nazuna notices her apartment looks much better. She also takes Kou with her and shows him all the upgrades she has done to her apartment. She has bought a new bed, some basic necessities, some new clothes, and many more. She thinks she could make more money by offering a special service, sleeping with people, but just for sleeping, she explains. She asks Kou to help her find people who look tired. He wonders if he will find any person. After walking for some time, he meets a lady who looks really tired. She is sitting at the corner of the railing and smoking non-stop. He tries to invite her by offering her a chat because she looks tired. As Kou says that, he immediately gets nervous and is forced to think that he is flirting with her, which makes him really embarrassed. Listening to his offer, the girl gets shocked. In this shocking state, she smokes more and gets up from the ground and looks at Kou for some time, silently. But eventually, she agrees and suggests they talk somewhere else. Later at the restaurant, Kou thinks that the girl still thinks Kou was trying to hit on her. So, he apologizes to the girl and explains to her that he didn't mean that, he meant something else. But the girl teases him as she is so excited because a young person like Kou is trying to make a move on her. She further tells him that she has been so lonely lately. This makes him more nervous. By lowering his head, he explains about the service. He is soliciting customers for a cuddle buddy business and looking around for people who look sleep deprived. Later, she says she did not think he was being romantic. As he explains more about the service, she mentions labor laws in Japan that say an employer shall not employ a person under 18 full years of age between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. She jokes about reporting the business to the proper authorities and the consequences of running a suspicious business and warns him to be careful, as someone might really report him. At first, Kou becomes very scared. He starts sweating heavily. But later, when the lady informs him that she was joking, he feels relieved. She informs him that she is not one of those who follow laws, nor does she intend to turn him in, nor does she have the right to do that. She understands that Kou must have some special reason for giving this kind of service. But she warns Kou to learn from this and advises him to be more careful next time. Kou is relieved and thanks her. She says she is just encouraging misconduct and there is no need to worry. Further, she informs him that she is not interested in the service and prefers to sleep alone. Kou further suggests other services like massages if in case she changes her mind. The lady likes this offer a lot because her feet hurt from walking a lot at her job. When he asks what she does, the lady says that she doesn't like to talk about her work with any outsider, but still decides to tell him. She brings her visiting card out of her coat's inner pocket and tells him that she is a detective. Listening to the lady being a detective, Kou becomes so excited. He didn't believe that a detective existed in real life until now. Kou immediately starts asking so many questions about whether murders can actually happen in a locked room, and more like this. However, the lady immediately bursts his imaginary bubble and quickly tells him that her job is not like what you see in movies or cartoons. Dealing with murder kind of stuff is part of Conan's job. She mostly looks into cheating between couples or sometimes cases where people go missing. The lady instantly lights up another cigarette as she realizes that she should not disclose this kind of sensitive information. She then asks if Kou usually goes out like this often, and if he does, if he knows someone whose name is a Kou Yamori or a Kahito Akiyama. She tells more about that person as she shows him his photo. His friends usually call him by his nickname, which is Akam. Akihito Akiyama or Akam is the same boy who was banging at the door when Seri and Kou were present at the karaoke station, and who is now the offspring of Seri. Kou is shocked, but still, he refuses to know anything about him. When he says no, she notices the sudden change on Kou's face. She knows that Kou is lying.
知らないって。本当に。
To cross-check it, she immediately grabs his wrist, pulls him closer, and checks his pulse. For almost a minute, they keep looking into each other's eyes, silently. It is not clear if she figures anything out from his reaction, but she seems a bit relieved. She says sorry as she clears that the things that happened a few minutes earlier were nothing but a sudden reaction, and leaves $200 on the table to cover the costs, telling him to keep the change. Before leaving, she requests Kou to inform her as soon as he hears something about Akan. She also advises Kou to hit on her properly next time if he doesn't mind an older woman. As she leaves, Kou smiles as he thinks that this lady is weird. In such a short conversation, she smoked 3 whole cigarettes. After some time, Kou comes to Nazuna's apartment and tells her about the lady he met at the roadside, and then they both go to the cafe. Nazuna is disappointed that he went to a cafe with a woman and then came back home. Even after that, he did not get any customers. Nazuna starts crying and lies on her bed. She is mad at Kou and promises not to do anything until she gets some booze. But Nazuna immediately cheers up when she sees that Kou brought beer for her. She says he might have found a better opportunity than they thought. On the other hand, the detective lady is suspicious of Kou. She is happy to catch a bigger fish than she thought. Later, Kou is standing outside of his school waiting for his friends. Right then, his friends arrive. They meet each other, ask if they are okay, and start gossiping about something new in their lives. Then their mutual friend, Akira, also arrives. Akira and Kou wonder why Maharu called them there. Maharu just wants to hang out with them. He suggests sneaking into the school and having some fun. Akira and Kou get scared because sneaking out on someone's private property is completely illegal. Maharu tries to understand that he just wants to spend some quality time with his 2 super cool friends. After that, he climbs the school's main gate and jumps in. Then he requests that both his friends to join him. Kou likes his plan, so he immediately joins Maharu.
Akira!
He then tells Akira to join them too. Akira also agrees and starts climbing the gate just like a good student. As she reaches the top, she requests that both his friends look opposite because she is wearing a skirt. Her friends do the same, and then she comfortably comes down and enters the school. Akira, Kou, and Maharu then start strolling the roads of their school. Maharu talks about how they should make good memories together since things might change, like Kou is not coming to school anymore. They joke around and explore some spooky legends about the school, like their version of Bloody Mary. They enter a building that is unlocked and talk about some urban legend of the 7 school mysteries. They start with visiting the first story, which is about Hanako, who is haunting the girls' toilet. At first, they resisted entering the girls' toilet, but Maharu kept insisting. He really wants to verify the truth of the 7 school mysteries. Then Maharu suggests that Akira should go in there alone and summon the famous ghost while Kou and Maharu wait for her outside. She knocks at the door and requests the ghost to come out. She thought it was just a story, but when she heard a reply, she was terrified. But then she finds out that it was Maharu who was teasing her. She gets very angry with Maharu. Second story. There is even a real legend about a teacher who disappeared years ago and is said to show up in a classroom at night. The friends do not take the legend seriously but agree to check it out anyway, even going into the classroom. Maharu warns them that they should not be there, saying the aggressive person might not like it. Suddenly, he attacks Akira, leaving Kou scared and feeling like he has seen this before. After that, things get worse as he keeps attacking. And Kou realizes he is a vampire. But there is something strange. Vampires are usually elegant and beautiful, but this one looks awful and like he is in pain. He tells them to run. Then, the detective from before who shows up surprised everyone. She asks the vampire if he has a problem with drinking blood from smokers, offering her neck. He tries to bite her but stops, in a lot of pain. We see that the detective is shocked when he says her blood is grosser than he thought. She did not think a vampire could go 10 years without feeding. Kou asks why he did not drink blood before, and the detective explains that no one wants to be a vampire. Feeling tricked and upset for falling for someone so mean, the man cries out. The detective says he is brave for holding on for so long and offers him death to end his suffering. He is horrified, but she tells him not to fight it and to accept the relief from his pain. Upset, he asks why she is killing him. She scolds him, saying the man did not want to live as a monster and she won't let him do something so wrong. She says he does not understand vampires and gives business cards to his friends before leaving. Kou and Amber start doubting their dream of becoming vampires after recent events. At home, Kou is lying on his bed and seems quite disturbed. He gets emotional while thinking about what the detective said. The detective says that he knows nothing about vampires, which really disturbs him. He remembers all the times he spent with his vampire friends, which got him more emotional. A surprise visit from a friend at work makes him even more worried. At the detective's office, she is again smoking a cigarette while Maharu is sitting alongside her. He also seems disturbed, just like Kou. He is still trying to process what is going on and thinks about the vampires. After a lot of thinking, Kou finally concludes that he knows nothing about vampires and the detective was right. He thinks that they are pretty and rational despite the ridiculous things they say. Further, they like humans and they coexist with them. He then decides to visit Nazuna and talk to her. Should he open up to the vampire woman he trusts? At Nazuna's place, she is getting desperate to have Kou closer to her. She immediately runs toward him and asks if she can do this. He gives her permission, and without any second thought, she hugs him. She tells him that she was pretty close to losing it completely. Actually, Nazuna is craving for Kou's blood. When Nazuna arrives, craving his blood, he hesitates, remembering the recent attack. As soon as she said that, Kou remembered some bitter memories with Sari. He remembers how she wanted to kill Akon when they were at the karaoke station. So, he unintentionally pushes Nazuna back. After doing this act, Kou realizes that he has done wrong. So nervously, he apologizes and tries to step back, changing the atmosphere. Nazuna realizes that something is off with him. Noticing his unease, Nazuna pushes him to share what's wrong. So finally, Kou decides to trust her. He tells the whole story about a vampire who lost control. After a quick summary, Nazuna guesses that the attacker's hunger caused the aggression. Kou is affected by that incident. Innocently, he asks Nazuna if she would ever get like that. This behavior of Kou makes Nazuna worried. Kou predicts that today when Nazuna runs to hug him, she is actually craving for the blood. Nazuna grabs his face and turns it toward herself. She assures him that she is not like that bundle of geezers who only craves blood. She orders him that this is not the kind of thing he should think about this. Kou worries about her safety, but she reassures him confidently and relieves him. To clear their minds, they decide to take a walk. As Kou and Nazuna walk, they talk about how vampires rely on blood. Nazuna tells him that she once heard if vampires don't drink blood for 10 years, they would die. In short, she is trying to assure him that he is just overthinking and nothing bad will happen to him, especially from Nazuna's side. Other than that, there are also the type of vampires who refuse to accept what they have become, and this is how they die without feeding. On asking, Kou tells her he feels that the detective doesn't like vampires. Nazuna worries that Kou is not sure what he should do, and this will eventually lead him to quit his dream. Kou agrees that he is worried, but that doesn't mean he will leave his dream. He tells Nazuna that the detective knows how to kill vampires. Not just this, she actually killed one too. Listening to this whole story, Nazuna wonders how a normal human can kill a vampire. This creates a short pause between Kou and Nazuna. When Kou realizes the detective is against his dream of becoming a vampire, he starts fearing for his friends and especially for Nazuna. He has already seen the terrifying experience of Akira. Due to this, Maharu is scared too. He accepts that. For once, he starts thinking of vampires as some scary creatures. But now, he has come to his senses. Now, he is not thinking about it emotionally. Feeling guilty, he finally lets Nazuna feed on him, finding comfort in his fear. Nazuna gets very happy and she immediately runs toward Kou, hugs him, and inserts her fangs in his neck to drink the blood. Now that Kou has identified the fear within him, he can finally manage that emotion. Now, he thinks that fear is not actually that bad. Finally, Nazuna has satisfied her hunger for blood and Kou has overcome his fear. On the other hand, Maharu is delivering many bouquets of red roses on his cycle. He goes to deliver them to a lady who knows him beforehand. She thanks Maharu for bringing her the bouquet and invites him for a drink. Gracefully, Maharu rejects her offer as he is not 20 yet, but promises to visit as a proper customer when he turns 20. She then asks about Kou, who is standing beside him. The lady expresses her affection for young boys. After delivering all the bouquets, Maharu expresses his concern for Kou and his wish to become a vampire. He thinks Kou is doing this because he wants to have more fun. He further talks about the day when they sneaked into the school. He knows that it was a vampire who attacked Akira. The attack was so intense that it could have killed her. He then asks if he wants to be like this kind of vampire. All the thoughts and talks scared Kou a lot. He is forced to give his wish a thorough thought. Maharu reminds him of a story from their middle school about how things went when they both got separated and how Maharu used to hesitate to talk to Kou, knowing that he was trying to clear his image. After that, he suddenly asks why Kou wants to become a vampire. Nazuna suddenly wants to visit Kou's home, so he checks to make sure it's safe before inviting her in. As he explains his family's situation, he reassures her. Playfully exploring his room, Nazuna picks up on his lingering doubts about becoming a vampire during their blood bond. Nazuna comforts him, saying doubts are natural after everything that happened. Kou insists he still wants to become a vampire for the excitement of the night, but recent events have made him realize he has other priorities. When he jokingly mentions parenthood, Nazuna is left completely stunned. She offers to help him sort out his feelings, making him reflect on why he loves the night. He believes it's because it makes him feel free, but she suggests it's simply a break from his usual routine. While he once felt thrilled by his nighttime adventures, he now wonders if tonight carries the same excitement. Nazuna explains that excitement is temporary even for vampires. Apologizing for staying quiet, she admits she's been a vampire for a long time and that immortality can become monotonous. As she gets ready to leave, Kou hesitates, confused by his emotions. Misunderstanding his reaction, Nazuna leans in, flustering him. She then exits through the window, leaving him alone with his thoughts. The next night, Kou reaches out to the detective, hoping to talk about their last meeting. However, she misreads his intention, assuming he's asking her on a date. Although embarrassed by the misunderstanding, the detective gets slightly annoyed when Kou asks if she's serious and boldly suggests he spend the night with her. Setting the confusion aside, they shift the conversation to vampires. She then proves her skills as a detective by revealing just how much she knows about him, his age, his online activity, and even the secret pictures he's downloaded on his phone. When Kou asks why she is against vampires, she finds the question odd. She explains that vampires are dangerous because they use people to satisfy their thirst for blood. Sometimes, they even attack without reason, just like the incident at the school. She asks what he plans to do, but before he can answer, she points out that he hasn't even been in love yet, despite being close to Nazuna. She even reveals that she knows about his asthma and where Nazuna lives. According to her, he's too romantic to become a vampire, someone who cares too much about love. Her words hit him hard, but she doesn't stop there. She pushes further, insisting that simply avoiding vampires is no longer an option. With his newfound knowledge of vampires, Kou begins to fear for his peaceful life, realizing the risks for both himself and the vampire who turns him. He confronts Nazuna, laying out his dilemma: stay human and live safely, or become a vampire and face potential danger. In response, Nazuna promises to stand by his decision, even if it means fighting to keep him human. She reassures him that she'll do whatever it takes to help him. Despite recognizing the dangers of vampires, Kou defends them, arguing that they have emotions and struggles just like humans. Nazuna, though hesitant to pressure him, insists that staying human is the safer choice. To his shock, she even calls the police about a suspicious teenager, making him even more anxious. Panicked, he hides inside a playground slide to evade the authorities. As he debates whether to seek shelter at Nazuna's home, he unexpectedly crosses paths with another familiar vampire. The other vampire invites Kou to his house, where they encounter strange individuals behaving as though a celebrity is present. Despite their chatter about household tasks, Hatsuka dismisses them to accommodate his guest. Perplexed by the peculiar setup and Hatsuka's behavior, Kou's suspicions deepen. Hatsuka's request for a towel leads to the revelation of her vampiric nature, catching Kou off guard. He questions her gender, to which she confirms being female, unaware of his ignorance. Kou vents about Nazuna's silence, shifting focus to her desperate plea for him to forsake vampirism. Meanwhile, Hatsuka discloses her decision to renounce vampirism, prompting the protagonist to recount the dangers associated with being a vampire, including the detective's pursuit due to his bad-tasting blood. Hatsuka gets lost in thought, noting that vampires do not know much about their own kind, similar to how humans do not fully understand themselves. Did you notice something strange? There is no reflection of Hatsuka in the scene, which is curious. Hatsuka continues, saying that Inzuko probably does not know why some blood tastes better than others. Speaking of blood, there are rumors about how delicious Kou's blood is, so Hatsuka approaches Kou, reminding him of his debt for helping hide from the police. Kou asks why Hatsuka dresses like a girl, and Hatsuka explains it makes him more attractive to both boys and girls. While explaining, Hatsuka's phone interrupts with news of Nazuna's distress. He tries to get up quickly but sits back down. Hatsuka suggests teaming up with Kou instead of Nazuna. He argues that despite Kou spending time with Nazuna, there has been no romantic spark. Hatsuka thinks a man like Kou would understand love better than a vampire. Although Kou is unsure at first, he does not see a problem with the idea, acknowledging Hatsuka's attractiveness. This surprises Hatsuka, and Kou wonders if he should consider the offer to save Nazuna. Hatsuka explains that he does not seduce humans like other vampires but uses hypnotic powers to make them happy, similar to brainwashing. Kou declines the offer, saying he does not understand anyone, not just women, but he is committed to falling in love with Nazuna. With thanks, Kou leaves, determined to cheer up Nazuna. When Kou arrives at Nazuna's place, Nico tells him she is gone and how it's affected her. Kou ignores Nico's advice to stay away from her and insists on seeing her. Nico is left speechless by Kou's sudden burst of emotion. As Kou tries to understand his feelings, he thinks about how the night brings both fear and excitement. He narrowly avoids getting caught by the police, all the while thinking about Nazuna and their times together. Meanwhile, Nazuna wonders if Kou is angry with her. Their meeting reminds them of their first encounter, with Kou expressing how much he cares about finding her. Nazuna struggles to express her feelings but hints at being emotionally torn. Despite wanting to keep her distance, she admits to enjoying Kou's company and wonders if he feels the same. Kou reassures her, saying he had a great time with her and never wants to feel bored again. He promises to fall in love with her and asks her to stay with him. He apologizes for his strong feelings, feeling embarrassed but also sure about them. Nazuna is speechless, but she silently promises to become a vampire worthy of his love. They share a tender kiss, and as they look at each other, Nazuna whispers, "It's just us." That concludes the anime recap. As always, if you enjoyed, let me know down below, and I'm out.